I have no idea if this is working or not. Let me check my guy if he's there. Hmm. Let's see. Oh, I am live. Whoops. All right. Well, I cannot see any comments, but I might as well just go ahead and turn on TikTok. All right. Give me a sec. If anyone is watching this live or anyone pre-recording later. All right. Let's see. How do I do this on TikTok? Technical difficulties here. TikTok Studio. Go live. Yeah, go live. And small biz and AI, that is not the thing anymore. You could. All right. That's as far as we're going to go. Let's see here. Do I have my operations manager? Where is he? Let me see if I can get him on. Clearly, I did not prepare fast enough. All right. All right. I am live now. All right. TikTok is coming up. Okay. I haven't done this in a long time. It's been many years since I've gone live. All right. We're just going to try to do this. I figured we go live. I came across some really interesting things, and I couldn't wait to share it. We'll just wait here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started, I guess. I'll wait for my ops guy to tell me whether or not he can actually hear me and see me. So I just had some really cool, interesting thing that I finally finished after like 10 months of working on it. And I figured, I'm gonna start going live to help out with kind of my content flow and like making sure I have a lot of content and just to connect with people too, because it's been a while. I actually haven't posted any TikTok videos for a while. So I wanted to do that, do something. So I I just decided today on a whim, let's just go live. Let's see what happens. And I learned my software in like 10 minutes to do it. So the last like 10 months, I've been working with online coaches, and I have a really crazy report that I finally finished, and I couldn't wait to share it. So that's what I wanted to kind of go through. So I figured I'd just go on live for like 30 minutes because I don't have that much more energy left in the tank. I've been working since 4 a.m. this morning. And I figured I'd just go ahead and make a YouTube video, and we'll just make the YouTube video live. And then I'll talk about what the thing I made. So you're going to see the behind the scenes on how I'm going to do this. So this is really weird to be doing it both live and recording the YouTube video. I didn't even check my hair or anything, but whatever. Let's just go with it. I don't think my ops manager is on. Is he on? Oh, my audio. Oh, he's on. Hey, Cam. Everyone say hello to Cam. He's my operations manager. He is awesome. He streams himself. Actually, I need to share that too with everyone. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead, start this. Hopefully it won't go more than 10 to 15 minutes of me talking about it as if I'm making a YouTube video. And then I'll just leave the rest for Q&A, and we'll go from there. All right. I have no idea how this looks like on LinkedIn. I just decided simultaneously just go on YouTube, go on LinkedIn, go on TikTok, but let's just go with it. All right, so let's just start. So I'm going to do the hook for YouTube. All right. Just make sure I look okay here. There are 4 invisible... See, I haven't made a YouTube video in a long time either. Okay. There are 4 invisible leaks that could be costing your online coaching business $366,000 a year. Over the last 10 months, I painstakingly researched to figure out what these leaks were and how to deal with them. I scoured the internet and used AI to help me hunt this data down, and I have it all here in this report right here. I could probably do that again. I don't know if that was very good. I'll do it one more time because I've been really out of practice. It's been 6 months since I made a YouTube video. So let's do it one more time. I'm going to do it one more time. My machine froze. Uh-oh. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. All right. There are 4 invisible leaks that could be costing your online coaching business $366,000 a year. Over the last 10 months, I painstakingly researched to figure out what these leaks were and how to deal with them. I scoured the internet and I used AI to help me hunt this data down, and I have it all right here in this report. All right, there you go. That's how you make a YouTube hook with my amateur skills. All right, so what is this report? All right, so I actually stumbled upon this idea. So I was investigating some of the biggest leaks. Let's see, how should I start this off? In fact, let me just go through it. I'll just go ahead and show it. There we go. How was that? All right, I set that up in 10 minutes. All right, so this is the report that I came across and finally did. I know those of you on TikTok can't see it. I'll get that kind of figured out as we move on, because this is my first rodeo kind of doing it on TikTok. But I'll show you this page. This is the report I made. It's the real cost of revenue leaks in online coaching. So when I've been spending the last 10 months working with online coaches, and there are these like common patterns I kept finding and seeing there that just kept coming up all the time. And the more and more I looked into it, I realized that these were really big bottlenecks or like revenue leaks, what I'm calling revenue leaks. And basically these 4 things actually cause the business to like stall or not make money or prevent the actual coach from actually making the revenue that they wanted to make, right? My biggest thing is I try to work with coaches that really focus on transforming people and making a big impact on people's lives. And so, as generous as that mission can be, well, as generous as these coaches are, right? Like they still need to bring in money for their business in order to survive and increase their impact, right? So I was like, how do I keep these people in business? How do I solve these problems? How do I solve these bottlenecks for these people? And so, I was using a lot of AI tools. I was building a lot of automated workflows. I was doing a lot of research for them. And then I found myself just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then as I kept digging deeper, I found that a lot of coaching businesses have these same problems. And then I ended up just trying to hunt down the numbers and getting some data here. So that's what I'm showing here. This is the accumulation of all that data. Like I put all of that together over everything I did over the last 10 months. And I backed it up with research. In fact, I'm just gonna go to the end here. Like I backed it up with there we go. So I backed it up with data from the ICF, PwC, IPEC. There's some Harvard Business Review stuff in here. I did have to use a little bit of healthcare related data, and you'll see why. And it's because of when you think about when you think about coaches and having to follow up with appointments and stuff, like the healthcare industry, at least here in the United States, they have it down. They know what they're doing in terms of like making sure people show up. So I actually looked into some of that. I looked at IBIS World, Coach Ranks, and a few other places. So like here's all the online resources that I use to kind of back up this data. I have more, but these were the ones that are just relevant in the report itself. All right, so what's happening here? If an online coach actually has all four of these leaks, conservatively, they could be missing out in $366,000 a year. That's the math that I kind of worked out here. There are four specific leaks here: race to the bottom pricing, slow and manual follow-up, high no-show rates, and then the failure to nurture qualified leads. These are the four things that I've seen where they're super easy to fix, but they're actually causing businesses a lot of headaches. And so that's what I want to show here in this report. So let's actually talk about the first one. So underpricing. All right. Underpricing, the race to the bottom. So a lot of times, right, when especially coaches that are just starting out, a lot of coaches are just starting with charging an hourly rate. Like for me, I was having a little bit of trouble with getting into the video game industry a few years ago. So I hired a coach. Her name was Sonia. She's awesome. But she charged me hourly, in fact. And honestly, I only billed her like 2 hours. But she while we were talking and she was helping me, I was asking her how her coaching business was, and she was like, well, I remember her saying it wasn't growing as quickly as she wanted it to, but back then I didn't realize part of the reason may have been because she was charging such a low hourly rate. And so that was my personal experience with a coach I worked with. I worked with another career coach before I entered the video game industry, and that coach charged me $300, where this one, Sonia, charged me much less. But then they delivered the same amount of work, so it wasn't like anything really. There was such a big price discrepancy. The only difference was that they were working in different industries. But here's the other thing too, right? When you're undercharging your expertise, it's actually what I'm starting to see is these coaches are really amazing at what they do. And it's not about their lack of skills. It was what I found was the issue was just how they are positioning themselves. And then once I learned about how coaches can use high ticket pricing and build their coaching programs into high ticket pricing models, like that's when I realized there's a major discrepancy between people who are charging high ticket programs and actually charging hourly rates. And that's the math that I'm actually doing here. So what I found was that the average coach in North America, they earn $67,000 a year, roughly charging $272 an hour, right? And on average, 13 active clients, right? But the thing is, if they're charging $272, they are underpricing themselves. And so here's the math that we kind of figured out here. So if you say you have a premium coaching service, but you're only charging $3,000 each for that, when you actually do the hourly math and how much time you're actually spending for that person, if you're positioning yourself, you could actually, as a coach, charge up to $7,000 a program. So in fact, the three coaches that I'm working with now, we're trying to launch their coaching programs. Um, those coaches, what we're doing is they are around that $7,000 program for about 6 months. These are a mixture between of these are a mixture of one-to-one sessions. They have group sessions. They generally go about 6 months. But yeah, we're charging around that $7,000 mark there. For my own packaging, I'm not doing coaching, but you know, making sure I don't charge my time hourly is like a big reason why um, I don't have to worry about pricing myself down to like an low hourly rate. All right. So if you're if you could let's see right here. So the monthly loss revenue. So basically, if you are charging 3K for your program when you could be charging 7K, and you have two clients per month, you're losing out in $8,000 a month pretty much in revenue itself, right? This is not counting cost of goods sold and your time and all that. This is just pure revenue, the cash you're collecting up front, right? So that's actually potentially $96,000 that you could be losing all year round. All right. So that's the first one. Race to the bottom trap. Like that's a pretty big one. All right. Oops, I keep doing that. All right, the second one is slow following up. This one's super simple to fix. So this is something that affects lots of people, lots of businesses in lots of different industries. This is not something that is unique to the coaching. This is not something that's unique to the coaching industry, right? So a lot of times, like when we have brand new leads coming in, the most important thing we can do as online coaches is follow up with that lead as quickly as possible. So I found some data saying that first responding as quickly as possible, you are this is crazy range 7 to 21% more likely to close a sale if you're the first person to respond back to that person to that lead, right? And then I also found some data showing that some of the evidence shows that um, most coaches get back to leads within 6 to 42 hours. That's way too long. Average response time 42 hours. Um, and then only 37% of coaches respond within the first hour. That's actually really, really high. I was very surprised to see that. Um, and so once you get past this like 30-minute mark, if you don't respond to a lead within 30 minutes, your odds of actually getting that lead to continue the conversation with you and nurturing that lead drop significantly. All right. So why is this a problem? Actually, I'm gonna share a quick story about this in a different industry. So the one thing that really changed the trajectory of my career was how fast I responded to leads. Actually, and what happened was I had a manager. I just joined a brand new team. I had a manager that really wasn't sure about me, and I would respond. He would send me emails, and I would respond back to him maybe like hours later, 5 or 6 hours later, maybe the next day. I wouldn't even acknowledge that I responded to him. And well, the problem with that was this was a very fast environment, and where decisions had to be made like every single minute at a time. Um, it was getting to a point where even the manager talked to his manager and said, I don't think Andrew's gonna work out for us. And so like I had to change something real fast. So he actually pulled me aside and he was like, okay, Andrew, here's what we're gonna do. So he like started getting on my case about I need to be more responsive and stuff. And I don't remember the entire conversation, but I do remember the very last thing he said to me. And so this is when I was working at Deloitte, one of the big four consulting firms. And he said to me, Andrew, if a partner emails you, you respond back within 5 minutes. Doesn't matter what you need. It does not matter what you're doing at the moment. You respond back. And after I heard that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And so once I started getting into that practice, I was able to first of all pay attention to the fact that I had to respond back within 5 minutes, right? Um, but not only did I realize, okay, I'm gonna be responding back quickly, but I realized my emails and responses back had to be much better too, right? So I couldn't respond back this ambiguous, like wishy-washy thing. I had to respond back with an acknowledgement, like I understood what you're saying. When I'm gonna do the thing that you're asking me to do, and when I'm gonna actually follow up with it, right? So I had to like think about all these things within the 5 minutes and to get back to them. And so like fast forward just like maybe a week, and once I got into this rhythm of doing that, like all the partners, all my managers were coming to me because they knew me as the person that was most responsive, was most likely to get things done, and most likely not to flake out on any of the work that they were asking for. Now, there were other consequences of that, but it changed a lot for me. So leads are kind of the same way, right? Like if a lead comes in through your CRM, like, right, there's a new client and you're an online coach, you get a new client coming in through your CRM, they download your lead magnet or they text you or they put time on your calendar, right? And you let it sit for like 12 hours, sometimes 42 hours. How's that person going to feel, right? Are they going to think that you're the coach for them? I don't know. But say you got back with them but say you got back to them within like 5 minutes, right? Like I mean, if I signed up with a new coach and just enter my information and message them, I would be like, wow, this person really cares about me if they got back to me in 5 minutes, right? And this is so easy to actually accomplish, especially with today's tool. Like if you use Calendly, right? You just set up auto reminders in a follow-up email, right? It can just be this canned thing, but you just say, hey, after the appointment is booked, 5 minutes later, or even 3 minutes later, or immediately after, send a follow-up email that has like placeholder first name. Thanks for booking time. Can't wait to meet with you. Hey, by the way, question, right? Maybe ask, maybe you just vanilla qualify the lead, right? Or you ask them, hey, what's your biggest problem that you're struggling with right now, right? Or ask them, what are you looking for in a coach, right? You can do this mixture of qualifying them and getting to understand them and nurture them right then and there, right? And that's a canned response. That's a templated response. Like that's all it takes. Just on your Calendly, like, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. I'll show you. This is how you do it. You just go here, go to any of these, and then you go to more options, and then go to confirmation page, notification workflows, and just do email follow-up. Go ahead, turn it on, okay? And then edit, and then right here, just say, hi, invitee, full name, thank you for, well, actually, this is not, shit, I forgot, it's not actually email follow-up. Which one is it? It's confirmation. Where is it? Or is this not count? Okay. Well, what you want to do is actually do email. You want to send a thank you email. Sorry. I was thinking about something else. Oh, wow. That's embarrassing. And that's why a lot of people don't go live, I guess, right? So what you want to do is create a new workflow, send an email, and then right here, see, edit email. So what you want to do is thanks for attending, or thanks for signing up. And then here, just ask like, don't, I would probably do something like, by the way, what are you looking for in a coach, right? Now, if you're using something like Go High Level and something, I think that that just makes it even easier, right? So that's the kind of stuff you can do. All right, man. I thought I was gonna get through this real quick. Okay, so number three, high no-show rates. All right, so this one is a big one. When I was doing some door-to-door sales, I was talking to a lot of hairstylists, and they had this same kind of issue. And the online coaching community is not immune to this. So especially if I've noticed that a lot of people have their calendars open so that they do free consultations. Like, here, sign up for a free 15-minute with me. Sign up for a free 30-minute with me. Right? Just this is how you look at it, as like an attraction offer to bring people in. The problem with that, though, is that even if the lead is qualified, a lot of people just don't show up because one, it's free, so the accountability is actually not there, right? There's less incentive for them to show up. So that was actually causing a lot of coaches I was working with some problems. And what a lot of the hairstylists were doing were either taking a deposit, or they were sending a lot of email follow-up and text message follow-up. Like, my hairstylist, actually, call her hairstylist. I don't go to a barber, but I guess she's my hairstylist. She sends me automated text all the time, right? And this stuff is everywhere, right? But I'm surprised to see so many online coaches not do this, and it's not using the automated reminders to actually send out and prevent no-shows. So what you can actually do is, again, with Calendly, if you're using Go High Level, it's super simple. You just, after someone books the appointment, you just set up three. I would do 3 reminders, right? I would probably do one 24 hours before the appointment, 12 hours before, and you could do either 3 hours before or 1 hour before. I've seen both work really well. I've seen some people do like 10 minutes before. I think that's a little extreme. But either way, I think that works. And the reason why you want to at least do that with your email reminders is because of this math here, right? So if you have a no-show, right, you could be missing out with $3,000 to $7,000 worth of revenue a month, right? And so once I did the math after looking at the data, that could be $60,000 a year. It's insane, absolutely insane, right? And it's even more exacerbated with no-shows, because what happens is you have a no-show that's booked your appointment. You have a no-show that's booked time on your calendar. That's a time slot that is reserved for that person that someone else cannot book. And if that first person does not show, you've just lost that revenue and the other person most likely, right? So, that's kind of hard to calculate. I didn't calculate that part in the math because you never really know. That's incredibly hard to track, but that's kind of what that's the situation that you're in. All right. Leads not nurtured. Lost relationship capital. All right. So this is a big one too. Not working your leads and not warming up your leads while they're waiting for your coaching sessions. A lot of times that first assessment, that first audit, whatever you want to call it, right? A lot of times you're asking the same kinds of questions anyway to anyone new. So I was surprised to see how many people don't have this process automated. And I was also surprised to see how many people don't actually do it at all. So here's what the data says. 71% of B2B leads never get a proper follow-up, and only 5% of qualified leads are persistently re-engaged, right? So if you do a basic nurture sequence, the data says 25% of these cold leads could be recovered, all right? And then 20% of those could close, right? If you have a regular, and that's conservative, right? So if you have like a regular 30% close rate, right? If you just bring that lead back into the flow, right? You could still, as long as you keep it you're not messing up with closing, you can still bring that person in and close on that person. I'll actually have an example. This was not in the coaching industry, but this happened to me about 2 months ago. This is when I was doing my walk-ins with a lot of the small businesses. So I had a lead DM me on TikTok, and then she was running this, like, let's just call it a health and wellness business. I won't get too specific here, but she was having a lot of trouble finding leads. So she saw one of my TikToks about scraping leads using AI and automation. And so she reached out to me and she's like, hey, I could use some help. She gave me her phone number and she gave me her email address. So I messaged them right away. And I did that manually too. I didn't use any sort of automation at that time because I was still kind of figuring out what my processes were going to be for my own business. And then basically what happened was I got a confirmation that she wanted to book time. I sent her my Calendly link, and then she said, okay, I'll sign up as soon as I get a chance. Nothing. Crickets. And so what happened was I waited about a week. Maybe even that was a little too long now that I think about it. I waited about a week and I reached back out and I texted her again. And I said, hey, are you still interested in doing this? And then I actually also sent things like, hey, I sent her information like, hey, a lot of leads can be scraped in this way and save you a lot of money, and you can save a lot of headache and time looking for leads this way. And so I sent her like little nuggets because she was having a leads problem. And then eventually my last message to her before I was about to give up, I was like, hey, I have time on my calendar tomorrow, Sunday, because I texted her on a Sunday. Would you like to talk? And finally she responded back, yes, I have time to talk. So I recovered that lead. I didn't close because I'm not a real good salesperson, but I still recovered the lead just because of that nurturing process, right? So that's why it's important to never give up on the leads and also have a way to nurture that relationship, even if they no-show, right? Or even if they ghost you. So, all right. So that's the report. That's all 4 of these things. So there's all 4 of these things: underpricing, race to the bottom pricing, slow follow-up, calendar chaos, and lead nurturing. You're not nurturing leads, right? Individually, you could be losing thousands each, but this all totals $366,000 a year. When I figured this out, this was mind-blowing to me. So here on whoever's on TikTok here. So $366,000 a year could be lost. When I did this math, it was kind of mind-blowing to me. I guess I didn't talk about how you can help out with the lead nurturing thing. So again, I like using Go High Level. I used to have a lot of automations using Make.com and using AI automation stuff, using things like OpenAI, using ChatGPT and automating it to send out emails and text messages using Twilio and stuff. But I realized just using Go High Level might be the easiest thing to do. This isn't a sponsored Go High Level video, by the way, but it just saved a lot. So yeah, the key takeaway for me, all 4 of these things can be very, very easily solved. All 4. And yeah, let me see. I don't have a summary slide on here. I'm used to having a summary slide from my consulting days, but all 4 of these are really preventable. It's actually not hard to plug all 4 of these. Like I said, 80% of it, you can do it through Calendly if you just use Calendly. If you're using a CRM and a full feature thing like Go High Level, it's just like 3 or 4 workflows. And, if anyone's interested in that, I can kind of show how I have it set up in my CRM. You can use AI automations using Make and N8N to kind of help you with that. And that's really easy to set up too. So if anyone has any questions about that, just feel free to message me. But yeah, like these things are really easy to solve. And I was so surprised that once I did the math, how much money it actually added up to be. So that was a big surprise. I was so surprised that I had to just tell someone. So that's why I hopped on to this live, and hopefully this was useful to someone. If you're interested in getting a copy of the report, yeah. So if you're interested in getting a copy of the report, just DM me, or let's see, what's a good, yeah, just comment data in the comments below. Yeah, and then I'll send you the report. I'll send you a message back, and I'll send it to you. All right. I'll probably post it up somewhere too. And then I'm also thinking about turning this into like an assessment so that you can use it like I was thinking about turning this thing into like a tool so you can kind of figure out how bad are your revenue leaks. So you can kind of see how much money you might be losing and missing out on. If you're interested in that, shoot me a DM or put a comment and let me know. All right, so let's see. That was my spiel. I cannot see any comments anywhere because I did not set this up properly. So I think I'm done though. I'm exhausted. I've been working 12 hours straight now. So I think I'll end it here. This was not too bad for the first one. We'll see how much more of these I'll do. All right. Let's see. I just want to see the effect one more time. No, that's my regular webcam. Okay, there we go. Ooh. Cam, if you're still on, did you like that? It's a nice little effect. All right, cool. All right, I'll catch everyone later. See ya.